We are 41 days into the government shutdown, and lawmakers are finally making a big leap forward in efforts to end it. The Senate is back in session today after voting to advance a House-passed short-term funding measure. So this bill would extend government funding through January 2026 and include 3 year-long funding bills for various federal agencies and programs. 8 Democrats joined Republicans. In exchange for their votes, they secured a commitment that the Senate would vote by mid-December on extending health care tax credits that have been central to Democrats' demands. But remember, that legislation would also need the approval of the House. Speaker Mike Johnson said members should begin returning to Washington right now in anticipation of a vote.
It's after 40 days of wandering in the wilderness and making the American people suffer needlessly. Some Senate Democrats finally have stepped forward to end the pain.
Democrats have been waging this fight and will continue to wage this fight. No matter what comes over to us from the United States Senate to the House of Representatives at some point this week.
The timing of the final passage of the revised package in the Senate remains unclear, but Majority Leader John Thune says he hopes to hold a final vote in the near future. We have team coverage of the government shutdown with CBS News correspondent Meg Oliver at Newark Liberty International Airport covering the impact on travelers. But first, let's head to CBS News political analyst Hunter Woodall, who is on Capitol Hill. So Hunter, walk us through the timeline here. When is the earliest the shutdown could end?
Well, that's a key question here. As you heard the speaker just talk about this wilderness that lawmakers really faced in the government shutdown so far. The idea is that the Senate will act soon. There's a lot of hopefulness that the Senate, barring any procedural hurdles, will be able to pass this package, if not today, in the coming days. Now, the key question is what happens in the U.S. House? Again, the Republicans hold the U.S. House, but they've essentially sat out this part of the process because they felt like they had done their work. Now, there have been changes to the package that the Senate is working on right now, so the U.S. House will have to have a vote on this, take action, because essentially this is a short-term funding patch through January 30th of 2026, along with a bevy of other changes. Now, Republicans may have some discomfort with this deal. Obviously, House Democrats have been stressing their opposition so far. We're hearing a lot of concerns from rank-and-file Democrats as well as the base of the Democratic Party. So the question remains to be seen. If the Senate does pass this, which they seem on track to be, how the House will act and how Republicans will act once it gets to their doorstep.
And there's been some infighting from Democrats over this vote, right? I mean, California Democratic Congressman Khanna had some pretty pointed words about Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer in a conversation with our Major Garrett. They will air tonight on The Takeout. Let's listen to some of it.
It's time for him to be replaced. He is not meeting the moment. He's out of touch with where the party's base is.
Are you hearing this from other lawmakers? I mean, what are you hearing about Senator Schumer's future?
Well, Lindsay, what's notable here is Congressman Khanna is not the only person saying this. I was just seeing on social media, California Democrat Congressman Mike Levin expressed a similar approach and a similar concern about Democratic leader Chuck Schumer over in the Senate. Now, Leader Schumer is probably not very concerned about 2 California House Democrats talking about him and his political future. But what this does show is how riled up the base is about Senate Democrats and how the Senate Democratic caucus is handling this shutdown and how Chuck Schumer has been leading Democrats so far. Now, notably, Democratic leader Chuck Schumer did not vote to advance this bipartisan compromise last night, but obviously he is the leader of the Senate Democrats. When I've talked to sources, it's either him or House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries who are seen as the face of the party. That just tells you, though, where we're at. And I'll also note, when you look at this deal that came together, New Hampshire Democratic Senator Jeanne Shaheen was crucial in advancing this bipartisan deal, this bipartisan compromise. Her daughter is actually running for a U.S. House seat in New Hampshire. Her daughter's talked about coming out in opposition to this deal. So that just tells you how fraught this topic is with Democrats, both in the Senate, but also in the U.S. House and competitive races around the country.
All right, Hunter Woodall, thank you. And you can see Major Garrett's interview with Congressman Khanna tonight on The Takeout. That's 5 p.m. Eastern right here on CBS News 24/7.